Hey guys, I'm Greg. Welcome to Gregsbeerreviews today. Let's go see what's in the fridge today, guys. Hey everybody, welcome to Gregsbeerreviews today. Today's beer comes from the Ozark Beer Company. This is their cream stout. They're out of Arkansas. This is a 5.3%er. This is a sessionable stout, if you will, as being 5.3%. Untapped has it at 25 IBUs. They say it's a perfect beer for the cooler weather. Full-bodied and accessible, notes of dark chocolate, coffee, and dried fruit with a roasty finish. My cooler weather right now. This was sent to me by Mr. Fudge, and he writes base single version of BDCS. I thought the BCDS was a tasty beer, and I guess this is their base version. It's not barrel aged. Thanks to Mr. Fudge for sending this to me. Let me try it. I don't think it's got any kind of dating on it. It doesn't have it on the label, and I don't see anything on the can. So need to have that on there, guys. So these guys at Ozark Beer Company, you need to put some kind of vintage or dating on the machine. If you have one, and if you don't, you shouldn't be in the craft beer business. That's the way I feel about it. Because it's only a 5.3%er, it's not going to keep for 20 years like some of the bigger beers are going to do it. So if you can't afford a dating machine, get out of the fucking the beer business. I hate to be that rude and that cruel about it, but that's the way it is. If I seen this beer sitting on a shelf here, it would sit on a shelf. I would not pick it up. And it may be a 10 beer, but if it doesn't have a vintage or a date on the bottom of it, homie ain't going to buy it. So that's the way I feel about it. So it is what it is. I do appreciate him spending his money on it and sending it to me, but I would not pick this beer up if it didn't have some kind of dating or vintage on it, guys. Especially being a low ABV stout. Commercial description and Untapped says a perfect beer for the cooler weather. I think I just read all that to you. Full-bodied, I'd be damn surprised if it's a full-bodied beer at 5.3%. Hopefully it'll change my mind. So they put a lot of useless information writing on the front of the can and neglect to put the more important information, like when it was put in the can. Imagine that. So with that being said, we're going to jump into it and see what we got here, guys. I don't buy these beers in this style at 5.3%. Just don't do it. Down the center of the glass we go. It's about as aggressive as I can pour a beer. Straight down the center. Cream stout. Got a lot of damn useless information on the front of the can there with their artwork. And it is a printed up can, so they spent money on that. Just send them to a plain Jane Silver can with a wraparound label on it. Save you some money instead of charging you a lot more than what the beer is probably worth. About a half a finger of head on that pour over into the light. It is pitch black through the big bowl part, but a little bit of red rubbiness around the thin part of the glass, which does not surprise me since it's a 5.3%er. It's not a big beer. So to the nose we go. Rich roasted malt. Caramel topping, maybe a little black molasses. Slight hint of some coffee in there, but not knowing when it was put in a can. The coffee notes may have been fresher or more prominent fresher than what I'm getting right now, not knowing how old the beer is. So, a very sessionable beer, probably at 5.3%, 25 IBUs, not a whole lot of bitterness to go with it, so it should be very easy, very smooth, very sweet to drink. Let's stop here. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Mr. Fudge. Most definitely not a full-body beer. Maybe light to medium. Very easy drinking, very smooth, no alcohol taste at all with a 5.3%. Not something that I would pick up for myself, being that low of an ABV, but a good transitional beer more than likely. If you've not had a dark beer or a stout or a cream stout, when they say cream stout, it usually to me means it's been brewed with some kind of lactose. It does have a nice sweetness to it with 25 IBUs. It's not bitter at all, guys. A good dessert beer, a good entry-level transitional dessert beer for the guys and gals that not used to drinking an imperial version of this beer. So, like I said, not something I would pick up for myself, but I'm glad I got to try it. We're going to sip on this. It's right out of the fridge and see what we end up with by the time it warms up to room temperature. But I don't buy stouts that are 5.3%, guys. I just don't do it. If I'm going to spend my money on a beer, I want it to be 7% or bigger. No matter what style it is, whether it's a pale ale or an IPA or a double IPA or a porter or a stout, I don't buy these session beers. I just don't do it, guys. If I'm going to spend my money on something, give me something with a little more alcohol and a little more taste, a little more body. I'm not a transitional beer drinker. I'm not now getting into craft beers. So if you are, this probably would be a tasty beer to try. But for the seasoned craft beer drinker, it's very lackluster. So let me sip on it and we'll come back and give it a grade. Alright guys, I'm back. Got a little left here. Good transitional stout. If you've never had a stout before, it'd be a good one to jump into. Something with a little better ingredients than what you're going to get from a macro lager, of course. And not a big ABV where you're going to be too inebriated or it's going to blow your palate out of your mouth. It does have a little bit of a creamy taste to it for a 5.3%. 25 IBUs, so it's not going to be super bitter for you. A good sessional beer, if you will, if you like to session these low ABV in this style, being a stout. Looks more like a porter to me than a stout, but tasty. Decent beer. Not world class, not outstanding, not even an A beer to me, guys. So, final chug. I probably would have enjoyed this beer a little more 10, 12 years ago than I do now. It doesn't have the ABV that I'm looking for in a stout. It doesn't have the date on it or vintage on it, so it doesn't tell me how old the beer is or how long it's been in the can. Not something that I would buy, but I'm glad I got to try it. Thanks to Mr. Fudge. Thank you. I do appreciate it, sir. To me, guys, B+, 88. That's where I'm going to put it. A good, well-made beer for the ABV that it is and not having a vintage or date on it. Over to Beer Advocate, they say 4.01, which is in their A- scale. Not going there with not a date or vintage on the can. And over to Untappd, they have it at 3.83. I agree with that. That's more in line with what I think the beer is. A B+ beer, guys. Well-made beer. Very low ABV. Low bitterness. Very sessionable. So, if you've had this cream stout from Ozark Beer Company, let me know what you think. Until we meet again, let's go see what's in the fridge.